Welcome back everybody, my name is Eltimar and we're going to be continuing our Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Where we left off last time, we were in the camp where we were supposed to go speak with Queen Galfrey, but we haven't done that yet. I've arrived back from my vacation and I am ready to record. So, the first part of this video is going to be me just summarizing some of the major events that happened in the camp. Most of this camp area is just looting boxes full of like random minor items, so it's not super duper important that everything is shown on video. First we spoke with the storyteller. He told us about the exodus of the elves from Keonan and the Earthfall event. He chose to remain behind and will let us know that he was an archmage of the elves back in the day. He chose to remain on Golarion because he loved it here and his people only cared about Keonan. Though he had some doubts, he was determined to fight the Earthfall, which appears to be a meteor impact that caused massive devastation to the world. The continent of Aslant was completely destroyed and debris from the impact darkened the atmosphere, blocking out the sun. You can also ask him why he appears so old. Turns out it's because of stories he carries and not because of his age, which is actually a really interesting sort of thing because elves typically don't age like he does. We also had him reforge an artifact for us, the Covenant of the Inheritor, which I'll show you guys in a second here. It's a pretty nice artifact. It goes in a belt slot and it causes all spells for casters within 30 feet to count as being 2 levels higher for the purposes of overcoming spell resistance, and it causes all weapons within 30 feet to be considered good and cold iron for overcoming damage reduction. We of course put it immediately on our belt because why wouldn't you want some damage resistance overcoming for all of our fighting characters? It's pretty important when fighting demons, so that's what we've done in this little area. Next on our list is we stop off with Darren. He's pretty close to the storyteller and he'll automatically speak to you as you approach. We have a choice here of whether to express a romantic intrigue in him or let him down easily. No matter which decision you make, he will let you know that in no uncertain terms he is not going to stay with the crusade. He has no plans to remain here and wants to go sailing in the south. I mean, I can't really blame him. Sailing sounds a lot better than fighting demons. In all honesty, a little less dangerous and, you know, a little more relaxing. Get some wine, have some sun. Anyways, we told him that while we found him to be a good companion, we didn't find him intriguing in a romantic way, being as we don't plan on turning our group into bugs in this particular playthrough. I'm not really sure how I want to do romance stuff with, but we'll figure that out later on. The next group we ran into was the theater group that we rescued at the market square in Canabris. Turns out they've joined the crusade as support staff because running a theater is rather expensive. They're planning to put on a play about our legendary feats. You know, killing demons, Grey Garrison, that kind of thing. But the first problem they ran into was the crowd scenes. They decided against summoning demons for sound, but instead put piglets inside of a box and scared them to make a racket, which is a little bit mean in my opinion, but here we are. The most important problem in the entire game though is choosing their lead actor. There's going to be 2 choices, a pair of gnomes and a cyclops. The pair of gnomes will switch places every so often, which allows them only to have to learn half their lines. The cyclops is, you know, a giant cyclops. He doesn't really know how to talk very well, but his presence is rather intimidating, and he is just a mighty force to be reckoned with, and we're going to be, of course, choosing the Cyclops to represent us during the play. I don't really know what it changes in the storyline, but I think we'll find out later. Maybe there'll be a play like in Dresden or something like that, in which we'll, you know, see how it all goes. Alrighty, one of the last people we're able to talk to in the camp is going to be Sela. She is sitting with some soldiers, getting a little bit tipsy. She's telling a story about how a mercenary taught her to wear male shirts at night so that she won't be, you know, killed in her sleep. She'll always have some armor on her, but no one told her to keep a weapon with her while she goes off to the bushes, probably to use the bathroom. Goblins entered her camp and she made it to her weapon and fought them off. Irbeth takes a little bit of an exception to the fact that Sela is drinking because she's a paladin. That being said, she's a bard in our group, so I don't really think this is super out of character. But anyways, we're going to be given a choice on how we want to handle this situation by Irbeth. We can either discipline Sela for drinking on shift with the queen in the camp, which is apparently a bad thing. Or you can just let it slide because who cares? It's not that big of a deal. We went with the disciplining group because we are lawful and we are more good aligned in this group. Sela apologized for her actions, and then Irabeth will tell her to act more like a paladin, which is way funny because she is more of a bard at this point in time than a paladin. But anyways, once you solve that, we can move on to the next area. Finally, we have arrived at the commander's tent. We have to go inside and speak with some people to advance the storyline, specifically Queen Galfrey. There are a few other people here in the room, none of which you can really talk to, although you can click on them, and they do say some minor things. There's also some things to loot in the room. For example, like Leotra will say, "My respects, Commander. I hope you'll be able to spare me some time after the formalities. Happy to help the cause, Commander. Good to meet you, Commander." But the only important person is the Queen. The Queen greets you with a stare. She has dropped the pompous air with which she just announced the 5th Crusade. The face of the ruler of Mendev appears calm and thoughtful. She has made her move and now awaits her opponent's reply.
I'm satisfied with the troop review, but I do not expect they will be sufficient for the task. You will have to prove yourself a shrewd leader and hire the necessary troops with the provided funds.
She gets quickly to the point.
I have chosen a target for your campaign, and that target is Dresden, our lost outpost within the World Wound. The Sword of Valor was kept there, a banner that was once carried by Iomade herself. Our greatest relic was lost when the city fell. I should make one thing clear from the start. The Sword of Valor is no mere symbol, but a powerful weapon against demons. The holiness of the banner weakens them and robs them of one of their most dangerous abilities, teleportation. A forced march to Dresden awaits you. The Sword of Valor is kept somewhere within the citadel. The demons probably think it's a hunting trophy. Its recovery is just as important as retaking the city itself. I hope the task is clear. I'm sending 2 specialists to help you, along with the soldiers. A historian, Nura Denduar, and a cleric, Soziel Bainik.
The Queen nods to the human man and young halfling woman standing next to her.
One of the famous inquisitors of the Church of Iomade also wants to talk to you. The Honorable Leota, whom everyone calls Hawkblade.
I do not wish to keep you, Commander. The matter I must discuss with you is extremely important, but it is not directly related to the Crusade. You no doubt wish to meet your new comrades and speak with Her Majesty. Therefore, I shall leave you now, but I ask that you seek me out in the camp at your earliest convenience.
Hi! Listen, it's amazing here. It's like I'm in a ballad. There's knights in shining armor, deadly dangers, glorious feats. We are going to show those demons! I'm so tired of sitting in a library reading books about history. It's time I took part in it!
I'm glad to help our cause, Commander. If you have some time later, I'd like to speak with you further.
You'll have plenty of time to talk. You're the Knight Commander's people now, her trusted advisors and companions. Now then, will you please leave us? Irabeth, you can go too.
When we met at Defender's Heart, I never imagined you'd make me the commander of the new crusade.
Some actions may be deemed bold, or even extreme, and beyond those, there are some you might call the Queen's last resort. I am not a simple monarch. I am at war with the Abyss, a war which has lasted over 100 years. I cannot allow myself the luxury of caution. In you, I see a chance, and I am willing to stake everything on it.
The Queen allows herself a smile.
However, you cannot blame me for putting you in charge of the crusade. I only formalized what had already happened in the hearts and minds of many. People spoke of the power that descended upon you and helped you save the Wardstones from corruption and total destruction. Word of this feat quickly spread far beyond the borders of Mendev. There was no other person who could better fit the role of Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade.
Did you know that the souls of angels from heaven are confined in the Wardstone?
I had guessed as much. Many angels fought alongside us in the First Crusade. Heaven was unable to mobilize its full might to aid us. but individual Celestials volunteered to fight for our cause. Then one day, they all vanished, saying that they were setting off on an important mission. Not long after, Iomede's herald erected the first wardstone in Kenobris, and then the others in cities across Mendev. Even back then, I had nagging doubts, but my faith in Iomede easily assuaged them. It is for us to serve the goddess after all, not to question her works. Nevertheless, I am pleased that you solved the mystery of the wardstone in Kenobris, and were able to save this gift of Iomede. It was a deed worthy of a knight commander of the Fifth Crusade.
A furrow forms in the Queen's brow. The Queen subtly inclines her head in solemn acknowledgement of your service. You should know I received an unusual gift in the caves beneath Kenabris. In a vision I saw the death of an angel called Lariel. Somehow he was able to grant me the ability to reveal the light of heaven.
Lariel. I knew him. He disappeared shortly before the world wound grew, and Dresden fell into the enemy's hands. In the chaos, we had more important concerns than investigating the fate of a single angel. Even one so righteous and beloved as Lariel. And afterward, matters took a turn for the worse. The angels left us to go on this special mission. It is so strange to hear the names I used to hear when I was young, like getting a message from the past. It is sad news, but it brings me back to the times when we strongly believed in our victory, and we rushed headlong toward it without fear. Could it be that such times have come again?
A smile, kind and sad, crosses the Queen's face. Show the covenant of the Inheritor. Do you remember this?
Get this. I thought this relic was destroyed many years ago. How strange it is to see it whole again. At one time, it gave me hope. I am pleased that this object will serve the crusade once more.
The Queen's eyebrows shoot up in surprise. Queen Galfrey's hand twitches as if trying to reach for the relic of its own accord, but the Queen stills its movement. I had a vision of Iomede giving her covenant to you.
I was young, and did not fully understand the magnitude of the duty that had been entrusted to me. Iomede gave me hope and strength to see me through the trials ahead, and in so doing, she won my everlasting loyalty.
The Queen's lips flatten in a hard line. Do you remember the oath you swore in battle?
Always. No matter how arduous, no matter how dark the skies, no matter how much blood flows from my wounds, I shall stand with you. We shall fight for our loved ones and our friends, for the right to live and die free. We shall do everything we possibly can, and after that, we shall begin to do the impossible. And if the hour should come when our arms can no longer raise our swords, our bodies will become a shield to cover those who still have strength to fight. I, Galfrey, Queen of Mendev, swear this to you. This is my vow.
The Queen's gaze grows distant. You withstood a blow from Arilu Vorlesh in that battle.
I would proudly declare that to be true, and say that even Arilu Vorlesh could not kill me on her first attempt. But to do so would be boasting. I was protected by my goddess. However, I was glad to see that, no matter how great the betrayer of humanity's power, it is nothing as compared to Iomede's might.
I would like to keep wearing this relic, please and thank you.
Then so you shall. What matters is that the covenant of the Inheritor has been recovered. Perhaps it should be in your hands now, because you have greater need of it. But should you ever feel that you no longer need this relic, I ask that you give it to me. I would be delighted to touch it again.
I have some questions about my mission to retake Dresden.
Of course, I shall answer.
How did the demons manage to conquer Dresden?
That's a good question. Its walls were built by dwarf craftsmen, and the power of the Sword of Valor protected the city. Alas, where raging hordes failed, A single lying tongue was all they needed to succeed. The demoness Minago convinced a young and ambitious crusader named Staunton Vane that the banner belonged on the battlefield. He went on a daring and unapproved raid, and the banner ended up in the enemy's hands. The city fell soon after. Ever since then, for 7 decades, it has served as a citadel for the forces of the Abyss.
Staunton Vane. I saw him at the Great Garrison. He defected to the demon side. Unfortunately.
Oh, really? I wasn't informed of this. After Dresden fell because of Staunton, he was nearly sentenced to death. He deserved it. In wartime, men are hanged for far less. But you have no idea what a terrible sight it is. A raging crowd of crusaders baying for blood. Never have my fighters looked so much like the demons we are fighting.
Galfrey frowns.
I commuted Staunton's sentence and stripped him of his rank. Not just for him, but for my army and my country. We are not Hell Knights. We do not maintain discipline with public executions.
You punished him with a life of disgrace and humiliation, and that life finally broke him. It's sad, but not surprising.
Perhaps exile would have been a more merciful sentence than decades of service among those who despised him. I was hoping he might atone for his guilt with a heroic act, but he likely decided that atonement was impossible, and he might as well give himself over to evil.
What forces are at my disposal?
Everyone we saw today at the parade. First among them, the Eagle Watch, who remain a powerful force thanks to Irabeth's resourcefulness. Also marching with you are several minor knightly orders, as the minor volunteer units like to be called. And finally, I have personally selected some recruits from Neurosian. They have little in the way of battle experience, but great determination and a thirst to prove themselves. I've always thought that an army benefits from at least one such unit. These forces, as I said, are not enough for a march on Dresden. You will have to hire additional troops with the funds that have been provided to you. But for a brave commander, and I hope you are one, that is just the beginning. If you retake Dresden, recover the holy power of the Sword of Valor, and gain a foothold in the region, then new armies will join under your banner. The Fifth Crusade is only beginning. Many battles and victories lie ahead.
It's been decades and no one has managed to retake the city. Why do you think we're different?
We have a chance now that we haven't seen in decades. But it's more than that. You created this chance for us by foiling the demon's plans in Canabris. The army who attacked the city came straight from Dresden. Demon hordes from the Abyss are usually encamped there, but many of them perished on the streets of Canabris. We must attack swiftly before they can restore their forces. When the city is free and the Sword of Valor appears before our soldiers, they won't be sending in any more reinforcements. Demons cannot teleport into an area protected by the banner of the goddess.
What about long-term goals? Do you know how to get rid of the world wound forever?
Now you are talking like a real knight commander. However, answering your question is not easy. To win this war, we must bar the demon's way. There are a few planar rifts leading to the Abyss across the territory we call the World Wound. The best specialists we could find have tried to close them on separate occasions, with no success, as you may have guessed. The World Wound is more than just a chain of portals to the Abyss. We do not understand its nature yet. The methods of rift closure known to magical science simply do not work here. However, we have a hypothesis, and a rather well-grounded one, that we must begin at the source of the problem, the place where the World Wound was opened. The main rift lies through the city of Iz and the Threshold Fortress, deep in the former lands of Socorus. We have never managed to fight our way so far and gain a foothold to allow the mages to explore the origins of the World Wound. So, the next step, after you succeed in Dresden, is an offensive push deeper into the World Wound, with the aim of reaching Threshold, the very threshold of the Abyss.
The threshold of the Abyss is called Threshold? I mean, I suppose it's a pretty apt name, just kind of a little on the nose, but I have no more questions.
Wonderful.
And what are you going to do? I asked the Queen.
Overlooking a spot of insubordination just at the moment. However, I shall answer you. I shall prepare the defenses at Nerosian and all the other border cities and plan the future of the Fifth Crusade. Does that satisfy your curiosity, Knight Commander?
I'm going to go with, my Queen, I would ask you to remain with us. The Dresden campaign is the hope of the Crusade, and the blessing of Iomedae that you carry may be decisive in battle. This is the Angel mythic path.
What is this I hear? A polite attempt to appeal to the conscience of an old sovereign?
The Queen flashes something of a slightly astonished smile.
I don't know if you realize what you're suggesting. If our enemies in the depths of the wound were to discover that I was with your army, they would immediately send their most vicious demons to attack. They would stop at nothing to be rid of me, and thereby sow chaos across Mendev. But you are right. I shouldn't be sitting it out in the rear. I am a warrior queen and a queen of warriors. Yet my fighters have forgotten what I look like. Fine. I shall join the crusade, but on my own terms. First, I shall assemble my entourage and lead the parade out of the camp. I shall catch up with you later, along with a few hand-picked bodyguards. We'll change our armor, and I'll become a knight of a minor order and join the troops incognito. Until we approach Dresden, no one should know I am among you. But before we storm the city, I shall show myself to the troops and join the battle. Let it be a surprise for the demons. I hope you won't complain of my company on the road, Commander, since you were the one who insisted upon it. Do you have any other questions?
She chuckles. No, the task is clear.
Splendid. Ah, yes. We have one final matter to attend to. It should be rather enjoyable. Count, there you are. You received my instruction?
I did, though I did not have time to read the thing before I was dragged before your majesty. In truth, I was readying myself to depart.
No matter. I trust you will forgive your sovereign for the rather brusque summons, especially when you learn what prompted it. As you are aware, she has recently been appointed my Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade. I spent a long while pondering whom to appoint to the highly sensitive post of Commander's Field Attache and Advisor Plenipotentiary without portfolio. Congratulations, Count.
The Queen makes a stately gesture in our direction.
It is a great honor, I suppose.
Darren's cool expression wavers, but he seems not to be fully cognizant of what is happening. That, or he is holding himself tightly in check. Probably the latter one.
I knew you would approve, Commander.
The Queen bestows a smile on you, then brings her gaze to rest on Darren once more. We said that was a great idea.
I had my doubts about whether you were ready for such a responsibility, Count, but your conduct in Kenobris has put my mind at ease. So, you will travel with the troops to Dresden. Only the commander may remove you from your post, but I trust that you will dutifully fulfill her orders and make a good showing of yourself. Especially since word of your appointment, Count, will reach the court at any moment. All of Mendev's nobility will be following your successes in service to the nation, including all of your devoted admirers. I even heard that one bard with whom you are particularly friendly has already begun composing a ballad to honor your heroic participation in the crusade and your faithful service to the commander here.
Your largesse truly knows no bounds, dear cousin. I am most gratified by the honor you have shown me.
The Count offers a bow, either as a sign of respect or in order to hide his flushed face. Only the barest quaver can be heard in his voice. He's pretty mad.
Then let's get going. May Iomedae help us.
Alrighty, it would appear that we have finished our conversation with the Queen. We're going to talk to Enevia for a moment, and then we're going to call it a video. In the next video, we'll be heading off into actual adventure territory, but let's give this conversation an attempt first. Enevia sweeps an inquisitive glance over you, so tell me straight. How did that brawl at the Great Garrison end? I heard the rumors, of course. That's kind of my job, you know, to listen. You've no idea what cobblers the Crusaders say about you. Some say that Ayamade came to you and appointed you her herald. Others say that you died, and an honest-to-God's angel is now leading the army disguised as you. Still others say it was just an explosion in an alchemist's lab, and I'm the one spreading rumors about your powers. I wish. But you know, you really have changed since the Grey Garrison. It's hard to describe, but you've become kind of... Enevia waves her hand, trying to find the word. More charismatic? More dangerous. I have a gut instinct about these things. If I didn't, I'd already be dead. You're dangerous, Commander, and by Desna, I hope you'll be dangerous to our enemies and not to us. Or to yourself. That's true. Well, I have to go. Alright, you watch yourself now. I will, and that's going to be the end of our video. So for now, I will leave you guys here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time, and we will go adventuring through the wilderness of the World Wound and killing things, probably. Take care. See you next time.